Music, one of my biggest inspirations and interests ever since childhood. Anime, something I've become very interested and inspired by over the last 5 years. In today's video, I'd like to combine both older and more recent passions of mine by drawing Honkai Star Rail characters as idols. Hi, I'm May, and today we'll talk about the first idol group, Ecolasia. In 2023, I drew Genshin Impact characters as idols. Now in 2025, I'd like to do the same with Honkai Star Rail characters. We'll also have a look at possible connections and interactions these Honkai Star Rail characters could have to Genshin Impact characters along the way. First, some inspirations for this group. Here's the mood board I used as inspiration. Before I mention the characters I drew, I'll share some general themes and aesthetics I use as inspiration for the designs and illustrations here. Maybe you'd like to guess what characters I drew for the group based off this and the visuals I'm showing here in the comments. The first aesthetic would be dreamy. Dreamy is an aesthetic inspired by the feeling of being in a dream, soft, surreal, and often floating between reality and fantasy. Visually, it mixes pastel tones, clouds, flowing fabrics, and ethereal textures with either soft light or glowing surreal elements like iridescence and LEDs. It often includes calming, poetic, or otherworldly motifs like stargazing, dreamscapes, and quiet moments of reflection. As another aesthetic, I have Victorian. Victorian is a vintage aesthetic inspired by 19th century British fashion, architecture, and design, known for its elegance, structure, and attention to detail. Visually, it features corsets, layered gowns, top hats, lace, and rich jewel tones, often paired with ornate accessories like pocket watches and gloves. The vibe is formal, romantic, and sometimes slightly dark or gothic, mixing historical charm with a sense of mystery and refinement. Now let's talk about the first character I drew for this group, Rainon. For each character, I'd like to share some thoughts on roles they could take in the idol group. I start by sharing a general definition of the role, then why the character fits to it for me. First would be Fainon's role on stage. The leader is the one who keeps the group together and usually takes the spotlight in performances. Fainon fits this because he has a strong presence, knows how to lead with heart, and would naturally take on responsibility for others. He'd probably be very encouraging during rehearsals and really bring the emotion into the group's songs on stage. The second role would be the BTS, behind the scenes role. This would include tasks they may do to help the idol group that don't involve singing and dancing on stage. The visual is the member who stands out because of their looks and fashion sense. They help shape the group's image. Fainon already has a striking design and center of attention or main character vibe, which is why I could see him being the visual too. He'd probably have a really elegant style while being the one who helps plan cool outfits or visual concepts for the group. The third role I'd mention here would be related to the group dynamic, mostly about the character's personality and how this affects the way they interact in the group. For Fainon, I could imagine him being the responsible leader. This role is more about making sure the group is doing okay behind the scenes, kind of like the one who's always checking if everyone rehearsed or knows the schedule. Fainon fits this because he's naturally thoughtful and dependable, and he'd want everyone in the group to feel supported. He'd probably be the one reminding people about rehearsals, helping calm nerves before a show, or stepping in to talk things through when someone's having a bad day. That's it for the first character. The second character in this group is Anaxa. First, his onstage role. The main dancer is the one with the strongest stage presence when it comes to choreography, usually taking center stage during dance breaks and leading the group's performance energy. Anaxa fits this role in his own weird way. He might not be super flashy or emotional, but he'd take dance as a challenge to master and turn it into something complex and creative. He'd probably make up routines that are full of unexpected moves and abstract symbolism and somehow pull them off with a really focused, intense energy, like he's proving a theory on stage. Now for the BTS role. The writer is in charge of the group's lyrics and helps shape the emotional message and themes of their songs. Anaxa is a very thoughtful person that likes messing with ideas. He'd probably write lyrics that are full of layered meanings, metaphors, or lines that make people pause and think. He'd write late into the night, completely thinking through his words. He'd also probably act like no one really understands the lyrics but him, and he may be kind of right. Finally, Anaxa's group dynamic role. The diva is the bold, attention-grabbing member who's confident, stylish, and not afraid to speak their mind. Anaxa doesn't try to be the diva, but the way he talks, acts, and just exists ends up pulling all the attention anyway. Even if he pretends not to care, he'd have this effortlessly iconic vibe, randomly dropping savage one-liners in interviews. He also may act like the world is just one big stage for him to question everything on. The final character for this group would be Muday. As you can see, this group is focused on Amphoria's characters. Did you guess this correctly when I showed the mood board at the start of the video? Now let's talk about Muday's role on stage. The rapper is the one who brings intensity and rhythm to the group's songs, usually delivering the fast, bold lines with the most impact. Muday fits this role because he's confident, serious, and has an intimidating edge. His energy would come through in fast, focused delivery rather than loud emotion. He'd keep a straight face the whole time, but deliver every line with sharp precision and power, making it hit even harder. Next, his behind-the-scenes role. The composer is in charge of creating the instrumental tracks, focusing on beats, structure, and the overall sound of the group's music. Since Muday is analytical and prefers action over talking, he'd probably enjoy building something from the ground up, especially if it's intense and high energy. He'd quietly work on beats in the background, experimenting with strong percussion and darker tones, and only show the group his results when he likes what he came up with. Finally, his group dynamic role, which may not fit to his combat type in Honkai Star Rail, but it fits his personality to me. The Ice Prince is the quiet, mysterious type who doesn't show emotions easily, but still manages to grab everyone's attention. This fits Muday perfectly. He's serious, keeps to himself, and doesn't open up easily, but people still respect him and want to know more. He'd stay in the back during group interviews, answer questions with short but cool replies while giving off an effortlessly powerful vibe without trying too hard. Next, since I did a project like this before for Genshin characters, I thought it would be fun to look at Genshin characters that remind me of the Honkai characters I mentioned in this video here. Kaeya would remind me of Phaenon, because both share charisma, leadership, and a strong presence that naturally draws others in. As an idol, Kaeya would differ from Phaenon in that his charm leans more into playful provocation and dramatic flair, while Phaenon's leadership is more responsible and heart-driven. Still, Kaeya could easily fit Phaenon's roles of the leader, the main vocalist, and visual, since his elegant style and ability to hold attention match to this, where they could also overlap in the responsible leader group dynamic role. Both would make sure the group stays together, though Kaeya might manage this with playful persuasion, while Phaenon relies on encouragement and steadiness. Dainsleif would remind me of Anaxa, because both are enigmatic, thoughtful, while carrying a sense of mystery that pulls attention without them trying. As an idol, Dainsleif would differ from Anaxa in that his presence is more rooted in history and fate rather than eccentric or theatrical. Still, like Anaxa, he could embody the main dancer role, performing with precision and intensity rather than flashiness. He'd also overlap in the lyricist role, since his reflective, layered worldview could translate into profound lyrics. The diva role fits both, though in different tones. Anaxa with clever one-liners, and Dainsleif with his cryptic statements that leave fans and the other group members equally intrigued. The look would remind me of Muday because both are serious, reserved, and defined by an Ice Prince aura that makes them stand out even when silent. As an idol, the look would differ from Muday in that his persona is more openly burdened with duty and hidden grief, while Muday's edge is colder and more distant. Still, the look would align well with Muday's idol roles. He could be the rapper, delivering powerful, cutting lines with restrained emotion, and also the composer, since his analytical side and dislike of wasted effort suit quiet, behind-the-scenes music production. In group dynamics, both embody the Ice Prince, admired for their composure, quiet strength, and mysterious appeal. And that's it for the characters in the first group. Which character and which of the illustrations I drew do you like most? Do you have any other ideas on what these characters could be like as idols? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. I have the illustrations included in this video as prints on my shop, and on the back sides of these prints are actually the illustrations from back when I drew Genshin Impact characters as idols a while back. Similarly to how I sorted idol characters to the Honkai Star Rail characters in this video, I also aligned the characters on the back with Honkai Star Rail characters. For example, on the back side of an Nexus print would be Dainsleif. On my Patreon, you can find full screen recorded process videos, time lapses, and full resolution images of my art. And if you'd like to see the videos where I drew Genshin Impact characters as idols, I leave a link to the playlist with this here. I've also studied the Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail art styles in several videos before, in case this is interesting to you. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, bye.